What's up, everybody? Mike Conley with Smoke Sermon Barbecue here. How you doing? Today we got a brisket and a pork butt, both going on the smoker, the RecTech 1100 flagship, and we are starting out low and slow so we can build some deep smoke flavor, and then we're going to bump up that heat before we go long overnight hold. Tomorrow these babies are going to be hitting the table for our office meeting, and trust me when I say they're not going to last long. Alright guys, so this cook starts with a 14-pound choice brisket that I picked up from Sam's Club. We took it straight out of the fridge and put it straight onto the cutting board, where we went with an aggressive trim. I know a lot of people aren't into that, but I like it because I'm chasing that aerodynamic shape. Went ahead and took off the silver skin from the meat side. We're working the fat cap down to about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch tops. The mohawk completely gone. Now it sits super even, which is exactly what we're after. We went ahead and got it rubbed down with our blackout brisket rub, and then we let it rest on the counter for about 30 minutes. While we fire up our RecTech flagship 1100, we're running Sam's Club pellets, and we have a 12-inch smoke tube that we're running as well. It's loaded down with a 50-50 blend of pellets and hickory wood chips. That's going to give it that extra deep smoke flavor that we're looking for. As far as the pork butt, we kept this one super simple. We trimmed it light, we cross-hatched the fast cap, and we hit it with my own holy pork rub seasoning, and then it is ready to go on the smoke as well. Once this RecTech is up to temp, we're going to go ahead and get the brisket on fat side up. We're going to put the pork butt right alongside of it. Both of them are getting the ThermoWorks RFX probe so that we can monitor those temps and we don't have to lift the lids at all. Now, we'll go ahead and get them rolling low and slow for a couple hours before checking in. We might do a light spritz of some water, some apple cider vinegar, and some W sauce just to see if they need a little bit of moisture. But as far as this cook is concerned, the smoke sermon is officially on. Alright guys, so the meat's been on for right at about 3.5 hours now. We haven't taken a peek, we haven't opened the lid at all. We're going to go ahead and take a look at it, see if it needs a little bit of some spritz. If so, we'll hit it real quick with some moisture, get it shut back down and let it keep rolling. Actually looking really good. You can actually even see the brisket still has some good moisture around the edges here. We got some fat rendering right below it. Pork butt's looking good. We're going to hit it with a quick little spritz, nothing crazy. Get those edges a little bit. That should be perfect. We'll let it keep rolling. Alright guys, so we are exactly 4.5 hours in on this cook. We're going to go ahead, open up the lid, take a quick peek at it, spritz it if needed, get it shut right back down. Let's take a look. Everything's looking really good. Got a little bit of pulling happening right here, so we'll tilt that, let that drain off. But other than that, it's just looking good and moist. That bark is building great. Getting dark. I might spritz that pork butt just a bit, but other than that, I think we're doing really, really well. For 4.5 hours in, the internal temp on the brisket is 140, and the internal temp on the pork butt is right at about 110. All right, guys, so we are sitting right at 8 hours on this cook. I've been spritzing the meat about every hour since our last check-in. I did take a little bit of foil, crinkled it up, and stuck it underneath that brisket where that pooling was happening a little bit, just to keep that running off so we could build a little bit of some better bark in that area where it was pooling. But other than that, I've just been opening it up and spritzing it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this brisket and see where we're at 8 hours in. All right, here we are. Take a look at both of these. Man, that brisket is looking good. Just let just a little bit of that run off, but it is looking great. That bark looks fantastic. This butt's looking good too. Interestingly enough, both of these are running right at 158 degrees internal. This bark looks incredible. It's almost ready to wrap. Usually I don't wrap until I get to 175, 180. This one I might wrap a little bit earlier because that bark is looking on point. But we're gonna let this go for probably another 45 minutes to an hour and then check on it and see if I wanna wrap it at that point. All right, guys, I'm getting ready to get this brisket wrapped up. First things first is to go ahead and spritz the paper just to make sure it's nice and pliable for us. Get that brisket set down there. Pour some of that liquid gold over top of it and get that brisket wrapped up good and tight in some butcher paper. It doesn't end there though, because once we get this thing wrapped up good and tight, we're actually gonna foil boat it around that paper. This, in my opinion, is the best of both worlds. This allows us to get the positives from the paper, the breathable for the bark, but also speeds up that cooking process with that foil boat method as well. Get that back on the pit, pull the pork butt, get some pats of butter on top of that butt, drizzle over some honey, which you can see here. Next, we're gonna go ahead and put some of this apple glazed rib candy over top. And then we are gonna use a little bit more of that barbecue seasoning, which we will just dust the top with that. We are gonna put about a half a cup of apple juice in this pan as well, just to help it braise. We're gonna lock down that foil nice and tight, get our RFX wireless meat probe back in and put it right there next to that foil wrapped brisket as well. Go ahead and get this thing closed down and back, but we're gonna pour some of that rendered tallow into a mason jar, lock it up and get it into the fridge so we can use it for the future as well, because we don't throw any of this stuff away. We love beef tallow. All right, guys, so it's now 11 hours into this cook. Our pork butt is probing right at 203 degrees on our RFX meat probe. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up. We're gonna probe it with our ThermoPen 1 just to make sure it's good and tender. If it's rockin' tender, like I'm sure it is, we're gonna go ahead and pull it out, let it sit for 15 or 20 minutes on the counter before we pop it into our oven for our long hot hold overnight until we serve this thing up tomorrow for our company potluck. We're actually going to go ahead and pull the brisket off as well. She's a beauty. The brisket both rest on the counter, ambient temperature, which outside here it's still about 90 degrees at 11 o'clock at night, but we've let them sit and come down in temperature into the low 180s. Now we're going to drop it into our warmer, where we're going to let this sit overnight till about 8:30 tomorrow at 145 degrees. She will hold steady. We'll get her sliced up and ready to take in. All right, guys, so that pork butt and that brisket are both ready. We got it pulled off. We pulled that bone out clean as it should be. We're getting that pork butt all shredded up. We are going to get it transferred over into a foil pan. This stuff turned out juicy, moist, flavorful. We're gonna dust it with a little bit of that barbecue seasoning as well, get it wrapped up good and tight and into a Cambro to take into the office. And we're gonna do the same thing with our brisket. We're gonna get it unwrapped and check out the bark on this thing. It turned out juicy. It cut clean. It just turned out incredible. Couldn't have been happier with it. This food disappeared quickly at our office meeting and it turned out amazing. If you guys like videos like this, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I appreciate your guys' support.